What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I would like to think it's the big brain people using my TCG Player link in the description down below, costing them nothing extra and supporting the channel directly for the cards they'd already be buying, that would not touch a terrible buyout like this with a 10-foot pole. I don't get what it is about this offseason that has people ignoring upcoming reprints and not paying attention to what's happening and then just going, I gotta get the card now. What events are you playing in? What is making you head towards something like this that has a guaranteed reprint in the same rarity or better, bolded on the Battles of Legend front page here for July? This has been used for a while. We have known that it's been coming, yet the $24 and $25 copies went off market along with my sanity as I just watched it happen. There's just no telling what people will go after, and yes, people are getting hazard pay, overtime pay, and I know many people in the audience are watching like, what is that? My work's never offered that kind of thing, along with other people that, yes, got checks in and are just blowing it everywhere. I can't comprehend why people would do this. Now, a card I would go after would be something like Hoot Cake, but this is a 50-50. If Angeli's in here, it means Konami's looking around at other Madolche cards, as they were also in Dual Overload, but Konami has also been known to just drop one piece of something here, like Dev Yachty and past Battles of Legend, and then plan to reprint something other places or not pay attention to it at all. So Hoot Cake is what I would be after, especially with other pieces being here, but again, I might avoid it if I didn't already get mine at the $2 to $3 mark forever ago, because, well, it could just end up in here and you could play the race when we actually see the full set spoiler here, and it's also one of those cards that you could just see pop up in an OTS pack. So what do you guys think of buyouts like these that keep having to kick off my market watches so I can yell, please freaking stop and let me get back to actual big brain content news? Like this, YuGiOh Black Market is actually doing a huge sale, and I'm taking a less cut from them also to help support this and get you guys the cheapest outright product prices, period, including Eternity Code, Rise of the Duelist, and a ton of other great sets. They actually have $70 boxes of Magical Hero Unlimited back up too, but I hear that the ratios are no better for the US as they were before, but the EU product has been delayed, so Magician Souls has been going up, and here's a chance to chase after your short prints if you'd really like to. But I think the bigger brain move is to keep Eternity Code or Rise of the Duelist sealed personally. And when we look at this deal, buy the case, and we also have boxes down in price too to I think $58.50 or something like that. So we add this to the cart. Let's remove these megatons so you can see the price, and we check out with code What's Good 5. Of course, you're actually going to get one of the best prices on product, period. Let's pull up a calculator to see what that is per box if you were splitting this with a team or something like that. So we divide this by the 12 boxes that would be in here, and you are paying less than 57.7 per box shipped to your front door when you're buying a case, and I think for individual boxes, again, it's around 58.5. This is a pretty awesome deal by them. Check it out below, and codes What's Good 5 does support the channel. Now, what's happening on market with Magician Soul versus the other cards? Well, we are seeing Unlimiteds actually pop up. One recently sold, though. I saw it in Magician Souls. And then we see Liquid is down towards 35, its lowest point in history, thanks to us also knowing that the EU rewaves are coming. So it seems one part of the set is still trekking up thanks to it being generically good in other decks, while Liquid Soldier and the rest of the set kind of settles. Although the Dark Magicians had been rising for some time, what an interesting pull versus the rest of the set. And Soul Servant has slowly gone up. There's a lot of this set that seems like it's good penny stonks 5 or lower that people have been pointing out that have been rising over time, like Satellite, Warrior, Junk Converter, and I know Triff actually recently featured Performapal Celestial Magician. That was pretty cool to see, and anything that is a synchron. So like, there's just a ton in the set, including the go 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 do 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 ga ga ga, you know, that kind of stuff. There's so much going for this set actually in terms of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh for a legendary duelist. Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye is our newest Starlight rare buyout. I am kind of scratching my head on how the Starlights are going. We're seeing even the trash ones, the ones that were $60, getting hyper focused and bought out. Hopefully you guys think about using my TCG Player link on big boy cards like this, but I don't know that it's good for the long term. I just can't see every single Starlight being worth money, and it could be people just going ahead and taking all the 60s, 70s, 80s off market, and then other people scrambling after while somebody got a bunch of the other ones cheap. So you need to be careful about that when you're considering what you need to go for now. But we see even Pyro Phoenix, every single low Starlight is starting to get focused right now. They're not going to replace themselves very fast on market because each of these are 1 per every 2 cases, and then there's 4 to 5 different ones, meaning in the newest sets, you have to pack 10 cases to theoretically get 1 of each, while in these, you had to pack 8 cases, and that's a lot of money to be chasing after cards like this. So they are just getting harder and harder to get, but sometimes you'll see deals pop up, perhaps like these. And whenever I click these, sometimes it's like a Japanese version of the card or something. Nope. Masquerena is actually hanging around 500 when it was more 556 recently, so we do see her chilling out a little, but who knows when she's gonna get focused again. It's pretty crazy out here. Now, the Lost Art promos were announced from Konami, and this is pretty exciting. The 2 I suggest getting most are featured towards the front: Dark Magician Girl and Harpy Queen. I think people will be very after these. The other Harpy cards will be somewhat collectible, and the rest of them, I would actually play Tragedy with Level Limit Area B back in the day, and I kind of like its weird English art, but the guillotine, of course, is something Konami would have used to strayed away from. A lot of people said this art would never come here either, so a great excuse to actually support your locals and get out over there when they're doing curbside pickup should they get these cards in, and be able to add these to their orders. They did say it's for the rest of 2020, so there should hopefully still be a Lost Art promo every single month, and with the availability for when stores are able to do that kind of action. I'm just waiting and hoping for that for a lot of locals right now. I don't think Harpy Queen Ultimate Rare will dip a lot in value. That's the first question people are asking, and we see the unlimited towards 50, which it has been, and there was a recent buyout which pushed the first ed towards 80. Now the lowest is towards 90. I think since it's been getting focused on buyouts, maybe those buyouts chill a little and we see some natural returns to the market, but I don't think the ultimate will be too pushed back by the Lost Art, but I do expect it to be one of the best Lost Arts of all time. When we look at them, Reborn is towards 20, Skill Drain is towards 20. I could see one day the Dark Magician Girl rising up to a full $30, and the Harpy Queen easily being 20 alongside Monster Reborn here, if not more. Waifus tend to sell, and who replaced the decision maker at Konami to allow things like this to actually happen for us? Eldritch the Golden Lord went back from 100 towards 110 plus, so people are actually moving towards it as well. Kind of a weird note to see it actually dip down and then dip back up almost immediately. I guess people are just waiting for their paychecks, or they're deciding, okay, it's back to 100, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I think we will have ban list even during this off-season, this forced off-season thanks to the Crush card, but I think they will be softer since the metagames, you know, haven't developed through events, and Konami usually takes those more so into consideration. We're still going to get power creep from Eternity Code, but sometimes that's going to help certain decks with their options like Adamancipator. Kind of weird to see this movement once again, but not the most surprising considering everything with the Secret Slayers has felt surprising. Looking quickly through Eternity Code on TCG Player, we're getting more sellers starting to list, so competition is rising up, like even using my bad, not my TCG Player code, but my Tier 0 code, What's Good 5, Gearsu ends up now being cheaper over here on TCG Player. So we're seeing markets start to develop versus the hyper-focused Tier 0, and TCG Player is heating up a little with more sellers, but it's still not a lot of competition. This feels similar to Dark Neostorm, where almost every single secret rare is good, and even though there's going to be less of them per each so that people will be hunting down playsets harder, Dark Neostorm shockingly had its moment where almost everything was super affordable. I don't think that's going to happen with Eternity Code, but I think certain cards will dip even further in price that we wouldn't expect to dip in price. And there goes Link Rust. You can blame me, it's fine. I did tell people that I thought it was undervalued. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Shining Victories, $15 for unlims, and the first ed's going up towards 20. This is a card you might have collected and you didn't know was going up in value. Even the ultras are above 5s towards 6, so this is just something to consider. Blue Eyes cards that niche of collectability and playability, depending on what it is, turns out really well. And Shining Victories is getting a little bit of extra value there back, huh? Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, also speaking of Blue Eyes decks, has been going up for a bit to where the super rare is almost catching the ultra, so I'd get the ultra sooner than later. We see Ideal 808 actually here on TCG Player with a bit of a deal at $13 before the ultras do start to go up. So if you've been waiting for a jump version of this for a decent price, well, this could be one of your last chances until we see another reprint of this card someday. 10 Goldfish. Why is this going up? I know Bahamut Shark, I know Master Rule, and all that stuff, but why now? Why are people going after this? Let me know if something's been figured out. He is a machine, so there's that aspect to him, I suppose. But let me know if you know the big brain reason for almost every single version of this going up on market. And of course, the DT and super rares going up the most proportionally. Evil Swarms, the good old Robbie Cole deck. We see Ouroboros going up in price a little bit for both of his versions. And I think I covered Ophion going up before, if I forgot to tab it. The DT version is going up as well. I don't think this is a great Master Rule 5 deck. It's a funny one, but it only counters oh so much. I know a ton of people are synchro summoning up into big monsters, but they can just link summon and go into their other options against this deck. So I'm not a huge fan, but I've seen an increase of play in it, and I guess I understand some of these buyouts that go with it. Speaking of DTs and the ban cards for the rest of this, Lavavel Chain for past formats seems to be getting really focused, and every single version but the gold rare is going up. So if you want a cheap budget option for your past format decks, there's that. But people tend to like their past format decks looking nice, and Lavavel Chain is going off the market versus the price that it was. We see this time and time again, like people rushed for Masterpiece recently. There was a banner at an event. There's a Masterpiece banner at like all the events. Billy wanted to bring it home, but Konami won't let him. Masterpiece has had a banner at events, so I think it's kind of funny that that caused the initial spike, but we already see it fall back out fully, and I think that happens over time. Like Grass had its buyouts, you see one returning to $6.50 towards that $6 range before its buyouts, but then it does jump up somewhat quickly. Ban cards are a fun investment, but it's a very long time versus your money. So here's what to consider when investing in ban cards. How long do you think you'll realistically be waiting versus it sitting there, and then what will its value jump to, and what could you have done with that money in the meantime? Because if it's like 2 years till we see the return of Masterpiece, or 5 years, think about how much your $12 could have flipped and flipped and flipped and flipped again if you're responsible. Now, if you're irresponsible and you're like, I just want to touch my ban cards and this is a great way for me to not go after my money, maybe I understand a little, but not really. You just get some more responsibility. That being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. What did you think of all the buyouts and things going on? Do check out YuGiOh Black Market Sale on Sealed. It's one of the best. I'm taking less out of my cut, and he's taking less out of his to provide you hands down the best sealed product that, in terms of pricing, that you will see period on this market. Like, it's actually just absurd the prices you're getting shipped to your front door. And thanks for watching, everybody. And it is a limited sale. Once he's out, I'm pretty sure he's ending these prices.